Hi there, fellow warriors. Whether it's fibromyalgia, some other form of chronic illness, or autoimmune condition, I'm so glad you decided to come to my channel and give this video a watch. I hope it's helpful. I hope it's encouraging. So, it's been a while since my last recording, almost 2 weeks. Now, a big part of that is because I've been working towards getting my diploma, so I can be a nutrition and weight management consultant, so-called. Essentially, taking what I've applied for my own life and hopefully then able to go out and help other people one-to-one. So the last 2 weeks especially were spent with me heavily working to get through all of the theory for my course, which the organization that put the course together allows for 6 weeks, actually 8 weeks to complete all of the theory. But I actually completed it in 4 weeks. So the reason I wanted to share that was because I've come to understand some more things about myself, which you would think at 50, I might have already figured these out, but sometimes we don't really see the challenges or the things we need to work on in ourselves until we're in the middle of something. And here's what I mean by that. So I've been carnivore now for 3 years, and it's been amazing. Lost 100 pounds, reversed all my fibromyalgia symptoms, most especially the brain fog, and the chronic inflammation, or the feeling of chronic inflammation and therefore chronic pain throughout my body. That's pretty much all gone, which is amazing. And not only that, I've been able to sleep at night better. I wake up more refreshed. I have more energy. I'm getting my mobility back. I've been able to do some long walks for me. I've done almost 2 miles a few times, and definitely between a half a mile and a mile 2 or 3 times a week. And trying to learn the balance between going out because I have the energy and I feel inspired to be out walking through nature versus I'm a bit tired and it's okay if I don't go out today, right? There's that fine line. I've come off all of my medications, my thyroid medication, my antidepressants, my statins, and my pain medications. Been 2 months now that I've been off of everything, which is incredible, and I'm very thankful. And I know that God has allowed me to reach this point because He is the one who has His hand in my life, who is guiding me. It was a thought I had 3.5 years ago, try keto. So basically, in May of 2020, I was almost 215 pounds, which was what I weighed during my second pregnancy 20 years ago. Right, so which is a fair bit of weight for pregnancy, but it's definitely carrying way too much weight for any other reason. And I'm only 5 foot 5 inches, so that's 165 centimeters. I'm average. That's way too much excess weight on my body. And I'd already been, I was bulimic for 35 years. So binging and purging didn't work. Restricting didn't work. I was vegetarian for almost 8 months. And then I couldn't stand the lack of meat in my diet. I came to hate beans and pulses and lentils and legumes and grains and cereals and vegetables. Overall, I missed meat, chicken, but especially, the red meats and the bacon. However, I was terrified to eat them because I didn't want to put on any more weight after years of being bulimic. And we were told since 1977 or 1983 here in the UK, but 1977, 78 in Canada and the US, that red meat, saturated fats, and the associated high cholesterol was what caused heart disease. Now, evidence has come out since that time that this is not actually the case. Now hold on. Okay, before I get too far, before you get overexcited, not that cholesterol doesn't play a role, because it is involved. I mean, cholesterol, we require cholesterol to live. We have to consume some amount of fat to live. If we don't have any, we'll die. Okay? That's a scientific anatomical fact. But do we need as many carbohydrates in the forms of vegetables and fruits and grains that we currently consume? We don't have to have them. And I would speak more to those of us who are still in the throes of what we would call sweet tooth, or a sugar craving, or a salt craving, what I would call food addiction, of the highly processed and highly refined stuff. Anything that comes in a package that was made in a factory is not food, okay? It's not. And through all my coursework studies and also my research that I've been doing on my own, watching the videos and the presentations done by Dr. Anthony Chafee, who is a doing his residency in neurosurgery in Australia. He's an American, but he lives in Australia. Dr. Philip Ovadia, who is a cardiothoracic surgeon. He himself is carnivore. He describes how for almost 20 years, he told his patients all the things that were recommended based on what came out in 1977. And in his own personal life, it did not help him. He was pre-diabetic, he was obese, he was headed for his own operating table. And when he stopped eating, first, the highly processed manufactured foods, he already noticed a massive difference just in how he felt, in just his health in general. And when he went really low carb, and then eventually ketogenic and carnivore, he dropped 100 pounds, got his blood works in order, and reversed all of his health issues. And, check him out on YouTube. Really, really intelligent guy. And, somebody who's learned, who has the letters behind his name, is not just some person on YouTube saying this stuff, right? Again, if you want more scientific information, check out Professor Bart Kay. Definitely check out Professor Ben Bikman, Dr. Ken D. Berry, Dr. Sean Baker, Dr. Sarah Zaldivar. These are all incredible resources who, in many of their videos, will actually go back and cite the studies that were done, where they were incorrect, where they were actually falsified, and the studies we can trust in that actually do show that less carbohydrates, reducing processed foods completely, and like eliminating them, all of that is to our benefit. And so I was thrilled with learning more of this information, getting more detailed specifics, not just on what happens in the human body to a protein molecule, a fat molecule, carbohydrate molecule, how is it digested, what does it do, what are the effects, but also the reasons why a low carb, at the very least, or carnivore, ideally, is really the most appropriate way to eat. And it's been fascinating, and I've been excited and thrilled and just locked into learning. But one of the things I found, which is why I really wanted to talk with you guys today, was that as excited as I was to be doing the process, to be studying, to be reinforcing all the things I'd learned for myself over the past 3 years, and make like notebooks of notes. I've got 4 spiral bound A4 size notebooks filled with notes from my own paperwork, like from my own coursework, as well as notes I've taken from videos I've watched on cholesterol and red meat, and why it's not so bad for you, and how even the U.S. dietary guidelines with regards to meat with regards to saturated fats from natural sources, not the processed packaged crap. We're talking like from red meat in particular, but definitely from any other animal sources. Dr. Ovadia has quoted them as saying in their current guidelines that saturated fats are no longer a nutrient of concern for overconsumption, which is a far cry from what was stated way back in 1977 when those guidelines first came out. Again, check the information, do your own research, but it is all there. And what I found was as involved and as excited and as great as I felt learning all this incredible information, seeing from how science has taught us the amazing way that God makes our bodies work. Because let's face it, yes, God has revealed to us the science of understanding how the human body digests and metabolizes and uses different nutrients and enzymes. We've learned this, but it's not like we formed the human body. We didn't. God created us, and He's allowed us over time to discover how incredibly He made our bodies. One of the things I came to see in myself through this great process was that as I was so driven to complete all my theory as soon as possible, because I want to help people. I think that's God's calling, is for me to try to help people one-to-one as much as I can. But I was so driven, I was so focused, that it was all about what I could do in my strength. It was all about what I could do and how fast could I do it. And, you know, I can't read anything for pleasure anymore. Forget about chilling out and just having coffee with my husband or my son or somebody else. No, I got to be on the laptop completing the paperwork, on the laptop working on my studies. And while dedication is good, I was so narrowly focused on being dedicated that I stopped walking with the Spirit. I stopped trusting God to get me through it in the right time, trying to do it in my timing, not His, and reaching a point of feeling, I feel a bit burned out. I'm feeling a little bit burned out. And by the time I finished with all my theory, I started to question, why am I even doing this? Like, why? What's the point? What if nobody ever wants to get my help as a health coach? What if nobody, really wants to hear what I have to say? Or what if they want to keep eating crap, or they'd rather take medication? Well, that's going to happen. And I realized, you know what? That's me not trusting God. And not only was I feeling burned out, but my cortisol levels, my stress levels were through the roof. And, I know one of the key reasons, even if you go carnivore, okay, even if you are eating carnivore, and yes, you will still lose weight and you're burning ketones, but if you raise your cortisol levels and therefore signal your insulin levels to stay high, which is what will happen in fight or flight mode, your body is incapable of releasing any other fat off your body. And not only that, you're putting your whole system is under stress and duress for no reason. I was so full of, I have to finish, I have to get everything done in 3 months. Says who? Says who? There's no stipulation from the college that I'm working with on my diploma. There's nothing. It says most people take 10 to 16 months. And I'm not doing just the level 3, which is what I've completed all the theory for. If you do level 4 and 5 in health and nutrition and a diploma level, then that can take up to 16 months. That's if you put in 4 to 6 hours a week. I was putting in 4 to 6 hours a day, every day. Now, part of me was so excited at the thought of, wow, what if I could, help out the family? Maybe people would pay me to consult with me. I can make a little extra money. Fantastic. It's flexible. I can do it from anywhere. All good things. Nothing wrong with that. But to burn myself out on the journey, to try to rush through the life lessons to reach the end goal, there was no point. And I share this with you guys because I realized I was so busy trying to get the schoolwork side of things done as quickly as I thought I had to, that I haven't stopped to put any videos up, no message of encouragement. I haven't updated. I think I've posted maybe 2 or 3 pictures in total on Instagram in that time, which is unusual for me. And everything sort of became super narrow focused. And I realized, you know what, that isn't what God wants for me. Yes, I need to work towards this goal. It's a good goal. Like I said, I think it is what God is calling me to do. He's healed me, and he's healing me, and he's brought me on this incredible, massive journey of faith and transformation. And so I think this is part of his purpose for me. But I don't believe he wants me to be in this constant state of stress, because then I'm no good to anybody. Then I'm not listening for the Spirit. Then I'm not trying to see, should I maybe sit out? I realized in the last 2 weeks, I spent hardly any time outside. Whereas at the start of the summer, I was out in our back garden on the sun lounger almost every day. Just laying in the sun, reading my Kindle, enjoying nature, going into town, enjoying a coffee, whatever it was, right? And I stopped doing that. And I realized I'm so driven to get to the end goal, I've forgotten to let God work in the meantime. And I wanted to be honest with you guys and let you know where I've been at, what's been going on, what's happened. That doesn't mean it's all bad. It's not. I mean, I'm working through, I have an 8-week case study that I'm doing. And my husband has lovingly and kindly agreed to be the subject of my said case study, following him with changes in weight management by eating carnivore. And I'm happy to say he's now into week 5. He is down 17 and a half pounds. 17 and a half pounds. Which is about 1.5 stones, or 8, I think that's about 8.5 kilos, 1.5 stone, 17 and a half pounds, approximately. His blood glucose levels, so he's a type 2 diabetic, and he's been on metformin for the last 5 years. Because in spite of going vegetarian for a year, trying pescatarian for 8 months, sort of letting things go and then trying to cut back on his carbs and then letting it go. It's so, a very common, I say that not with judgment because I went through that with him, but with a very, very strong sweet tooth, a sugar addiction, absolutely. And being told for years he has to reduce his carbohydrate intake, especially the processed packaged crap. And of course, we all know the challenge is you have one, you have to have everything of it. And so for me, the fact that he saw what I've done for over the past 3 years, and he asked me to help him follow the same way of eating. And I'm so proud of him to say he has lost that weight. But not only that, he's lost almost 3 inches from around his abdomen, almost 1 inch around his waist, and he has had his blood glucose levels within range every day for the past week and a half. So even on metformin, on his glucometer, his blood glucose readings would be around 13 or 14, which is not good. I think it's 10 and under is considered acceptable or within acceptable range. And especially over these last 3 mornings, his blood glucose has been either between 8.5 and 9 before even taking his metformin. His blood pressure has been reduced. His edema in his legs has gone away. He actually was at the gym yesterday working out for the first time in weeks, weightlifting and a bit of time on the bike. But he's actually healing his body and getting better. And I didn't make him go to the gym. He's asked me to tell him what to eat and he would eat it. And that's all I did. And God has done the rest. Yes, absolutely. But I'm excited because I get to use this as part of the case study, which will then be evaluated and, graded. And then hopefully I will get my certification. But for me, it's great because I was able to help him. And this part of the course has been the most rewarding, wanting to help him. And keeping in mind, I don't control what he eats other than, hey, can you make me breakfast? So, okay, fine. I'll make him some little sausages and eggs. Or he'll have deli meats with cheese at lunch, or maybe a jumbo sausage. And I cook dinner for us every night. And it's always carnivore. And he's seeing the results and he's excited and he wants to move forward. But it's still up to him, right? I'm not going to sit there and dictate what he does or doesn't eat. If he does weight training or not. If he walks more or doesn't. All of that's on him. And I realized part of me was placing my success with the program on whether or not he successfully followed my advice. And it doesn't work that way. And I also realized, life is kind of like that, right? That's how God looks at us. We're given all the suggestions, all the recommendations, all the advice we need to follow him and be with him in heaven someday. But we have the choice. Are we going to follow or not? Are we going to let him truly be in control or not? And I realized that even if I started the program with him in control, I was fighting regularly to take it back, which is so counterproductive. And it did nothing to help me with my peace. It did nothing to help me with keeping my cortisol levels low. It did nothing to help me with just trusting and surrendering. And as soon as I realized that, a light bulb went off. And I made the decision earlier this week that, you know what? I've finished all the theory. What they allow up to 3 months for most people, I did in 1. But now I need to slow down. I need to make time in my day to do other things, whether it's stopping for coffee, doing a little bit of therapy shopping within reason, whether that's just sitting outside on a sunny day, grabbing time with my son, spending time with my husband, whatever it is, whatever it looks like, whatever it looks like, I needed to start doing that and not be so wound up in one thing that my tunnel vision is so narrow that I forget to enjoy the life around me. And I know this is a bit of a rambling video, and I do apologize for that, but I just had to be so honest with you guys and say, you know what? You guys are amazing. And you're always there and you're always supportive, and I so appreciate that. And truly, it means the world to me. And I got so focused on accomplishing one task in my time instead of sitting back and enjoying the blessing of just enjoying life in general, I lost sight of the bigger picture. And so I am going to definitely try to make sure that I'm putting up content at least once a week, if not more. Because everything started, all of this journey, going back to get my certification, all of it started out of a love for you guys and being inspired by seeing how God has healed me. And that came well before the decision to go back and get my diploma. And so I don't want to lose that. I so appreciate you guys as a support group, as a community. It means the world to me. Because you guys could follow anybody, you guys could support anybody you wanted to, but you come here and you cheer me on, you encourage me with your comments, and just the fact that you watch these videos means the world. So thank you for that. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. That was all I wanted to share, really, was that I'm around and I'm here. I've let the busyness of my life take over, but I'm promising to not let that be the case. So unless I'm on holiday, like away somewhere, I promise to keep in touch regularly, share my victories and my challenges, because I don't know about you guys, it's great to hear about victories, but I relate so much more to people who also share times where they've struggled. That's where the realness comes in, right? So thank you for everything. You guys mean everything to me. I am so thankful and so grateful to be a part of this community of carnivores, or people who are interested in a more carnivore way of eating, as well as those of people of faith, people who are believers, who are Christians, who want to do whatever they can in life to honor God as He deserves. So for all of that, I say thank you. I hope you guys are encouraged. I hope you guys have an amazing weekend ahead. I will be out and about and busy with things, but again, I am not going to let it go this long before adding in content. So thank you for your patience, and I wish you guys all the best for this weekend. I promise I'll be back soon with some more content, and all the best to all of you. Thank you so much for all that you do for me. And if I can say anything, it would be this. Don't make the mistake I did, or if you have, let's all learn from it together. And don't let the focus of life become so narrow that we forget to enjoy all the blessings around us while we can. All right, that's it for me, guys. Honestly, I know my eyes are looking all over the place. I put the camera in a different position today, and I'm not used to where it is. But hopefully you'll enjoy the video anyways, and share it with as many people as you think of or you think could benefit in some way. Thank you guys for everything. Love you, and I'll see you soon with more content. Bye for now.